This morning on The Dish, we're climbing 48 floors, not really, above Manhattan to visit The View. The once iconic New York dining room is reopening after a 5-year hiatus with the unlikely help of one of America's best-known restaurateurs. Brooke Silva-Braga is here with an early look. Brooke?
Good morning. 40 years ago, Danny Meyer opened up Union Square Cafe, the start of a legendary restaurant career. His Union Square hospitality group later launched 11 Madison Park, Gramercy Tavern, Blue Smoke, and of course, Shake Shack, now serving burgers in 400 locations. But a rotating restaurant inside a hotel? Well, not even Meyer saw that coming. Spinning atop a Marriott hotel in Times Square, The View certainly lives up to its name, making a rotation roughly every hour above Midtown Manhattan. It is, no doubt, a nice place to take in the sights, but it's never been a picnic to run a restaurant up here.
There's absolutely nothing about The View that would be an obvious yes for a restaurateur.
Danny Meyer knew that the original incarnation of The View had never reopened after the pandemic. He knew there wouldn't be much foot traffic for a restaurant you reach by elevator from a hidden hotel lobby.
Welcome to The View.
He knew the massive 2-story dining room would be served by an impossibly small kitchen.
You're going to take a bath seat 1.
And when servers left the kitchen, they'd be constantly searching for their customers. The tables forever drifting away from where you left them.
You had some problems to solve.
We had a lot of problems to solve.
Knowing all this, Danny Meyer just couldn't resist.
Because it seems like a challenge that you don't need. What do you need with this?
I don't need a challenge any more than a mountain climber needs another mountain to climb. It's just, if you really love the journey, it's worth it.
Meyer made the journey with longtime collaborator David Rockwell.
We really pretty much cleared out everything that was in here.
The designer of Broadway sets, high-end theaters, and other Danny Meyer restaurants, was asked to create a swanky New York vibe, but with some unusual constraints.
All the tables are lit with battery-powered lights because you can't put power in a rotating restaurant.
Because you could never have an electrical cable that came out here because it would just...
Correct.
The first rotating restaurant was spun up above Honolulu in 1961. Thanks to architect John Graham, who put up another in Seattle's Space Needle. The novel extravagance, or was it campy fun, soon got copied around the world, including in 1985, right here above Broadway.
A rotating restaurant was thought of as a little bit of a gimmick, and it may have been at the time, but it also was a place to rediscover. It was a place that people knew about, that we could bring back the best part of that.
The fun of it for us has been, can we give New Yorkers a gift? I love Broadway. My wife's an actress. We go to many, many plays. And she always gets to pick the play, and I'm always the guy that gets to pick the restaurant. So I said, why don't we make one for ourselves?
The chef tabbed with executing that vision is Marjorie Meek Bradley.
Order fire, first course shrimp cocktail. That's a Caesar and a shrimp cocktail all day.
Her resume reads a bit like a Michelin guide.
So I ended up leaving 11 Madison and working at Per Se.
There were stops at Bouchon and Pastis, too.
Always been competitive, always been a bit driven.
But her earliest days in the kitchen were quite different.
Well, I grew up in Ukiah, California, small town north of San Francisco, and my parents actually started a soup kitchen while my mom was pregnant with me. You know, I just grew up kind of learning that food was a way to take care of people and nurture, and really just fell in love cooking with, like, you know, my mom and my sister.
The View is pretty far from Ukiah, but the challenge of cooking within a kitchen's constraints is universal.
I'll take steak salad, please.
Meek Bradley knew the tiny kitchen could only support a short menu. Every dish would have to be a crowd pleaser.
So this is fresh Maryland blue crab on a spicy remoulade.
What are the spices?
It's kind of like a Creole remoulade. You have some spicy mustard, a little bit of Tabasco, espelette in there for some heat as well.
Because it's mustard, but then it's like mustard with what?
Yeah, the espelette gives it a little different kind of kick.
Okay.
The burger gets its kick from another deep list of supporting flavors.
mushroom and grilled onions with cheddar and Munster cheese with a horseradish sauce. And then, you know, of course, hand-cut fries.
Everyone makes frozen fries. They say
Yeah.
it's too much of a hassle, the fresh fries.
It is a hassle. It's like almost a full person's job, but
Really?
they're delicious. We're not open for
Are
lunch, so I have the time.
delicious. Okay.
That schedule also allows the View to make pasta in-house before covering it in tomato and lobster.
And where'd this come from?
I was doing the tasting for Danny. I knew I wanted to do a pasta.
Is that nerve-wracking, doing a tasting for Danny?
Yeah, you know, I have not been that nervous cooking in a really long time. It was definitely, I think the first 2 dishes, my hands were shaking a little bit, which was so embarrassing.
I remember every dish, and I remember almost every iteration of every single dish.
Okay.
For Meyer, the tasting was less stressful than joyful.
I'll never forget the first time she made a crab cake. We've all had crab cakes. Crab cakes are kind of like everything else. There's these kind of crab cakes and these, we wanted these kind over here.
Yeah.
And she's doing that. It's a memorable crab cake. It's a memorable cheeseburger. It's a memorable steak. It's a memorable lobster pasta. We don't want it to be like every other Caesar salad you've had, but we want it to be so good that you can't wait to come back.
Getting folks to come back, to see the View not as a gimmick, but a destination, is the core challenge for the restaurant 48 floors above Times Square.
Spaghetti hands to me.
But Marjorie Meek Bradley also knows there's a lot spinning in her favor.
It's such a cool space, especially at nighttime, like with the lights, and there's live piano music, and like I just want people to come and have a good time. And I really just wanted to have really good food that kind of, you know, surprises you a little bit in the end, because maybe you're like, oh, it's burgers and steaks and crab cakes, but then you eat it and you're like, oh, that's right, that's what I wanted that to taste like.
And check how this chocolate cake tastes.
I'm
What's
laughing.
amazing about it, so it's supposed to somehow look like the Chrysler Building beside
Yeah?
here, but the caramel is not only in the sauce, it's in the ganache. And so you get this chocolate and caramel in every bite. It's
Oh, wow.
really great.
I'm dying to ask because I saw them in every shot. The peas and carrots. I saw the peas and carrots. How good were they?
They're good because what they do is they steam the carrots in carrot juice rather than water, and so it gets this very sweet carroty flavor.
And so now that I did my due
I was
diligence.
looking at the burger and the fries, but I'm glad you were looking at the peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots.
The cake is delicious.
The cake's amazing, yeah.
And
Oh
that
my
view,
gosh.
Great. What a combination. Thank
It
you,
is
Brooke.
delicious.